Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today on our podcast. As we get ready for this morning's devotion time, what will remain comes to us out of John chapter 15, verse number 16, that says, "You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. And whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, He may give it to you." When I read that verse, it's humbling to me sometimes to know that we are chosen on purpose for a purpose. And here Jesus tells his followers, and he's telling us as well, that their calling is not accidental, it's not random, and it's sure not temporary. What it is, it's intentional in order to bring forth fruit. And what he says here in verse 16 is very powerful to me when he says, it's not just fruitful for the moment, it's fruitful in a way that remains. We often measure results by what we can see real quickly. I think we're all been guilty of that at some point. Maybe it's large numbers of followers, maybe it's recognition, maybe it's some kind of visual sign of success. Whatever it is, Jesus speaks of a different kind of result. He talks about fruit that remains. That means something that lasts, something that may have taken time to develop, but it'll last long after you're gone. Something that continues to influence generations long after the moment has passed. And as I was doing this devotion, getting ready for it this morning, I happened to think about a tree. And a tree does not eat its own fruit. The fruit it bears is for other people to enjoy. And in the same way, the spiritual fruit of our lives is meant to feed, to guide, and to encourage those that come behind us, not just those that are around us now, but the generations that will come after us. Many may not even ever know us personally. But if there's some kind of visible trace that can be passed down and given to people to show not only who you were, but what God was doing in your life while you were on this earth. That's why I always stress, whether I'm preaching or teaching or talking one-on-one with somebody, or even, doing these devotions, I try to stress the importance of journaling, writing things down, making notes on things and what God is doing in your life, the highs and lows of life, the struggles and the victories. Be honest about all of it in your journaling, because the people who read those in generations to come, they may not know the pain that you were enduring during those struggles. They may not know the tears you cried, but they'll know the strength you gained and grew when you came out of those times. They may never walk the same valley you walked, but they'll know how to get out of the valley they're in, because you documented the trail that would lead you out. Just think about that this morning, and the legacy that maybe you want to leave behind, or things that you want others to know about what God has done in your life. Time is fleeting and it gets away from us so fast. But the fruit that remains is what's important. I know one memory that I have that I am so thankful that my grandchildren will always hopefully have this memory. It was a cool May day, and I was out on the porch. Marshall was about 2 months old, having a hard time kind of getting to sleep, so I took him out and I sat on the swing. As I was rocking there and the sunlight was coming through the oak trees, it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. And he fell asleep, and it wasn't long till Caroline came out and climbed up in the swing and was talking to me. And before long, she had laid down in my lap and she fell asleep. And I remember sitting there and thinking, there is no amount of money in all the world that could ever buy this moment. And if the Lord would allow me to, I would have sat there all day long and held them, because that was a moment that I knew would remain, at least in my heart, forever. When my wife happened to walk out on the porch and she took a picture of that moment. So there's a lasting impression of that moment. But it wasn't but a few days later I was journaling, and I was journaling about that moment. And a verse came to me, a verse of a song that was coming out of my journaling. And it simply said this: I won't always be here, but I'll always be near, in the porch swing songs and the laughter they hear. So while there's time, if you can make anything at all, make memories. And so I wrote a song called Make Memories, and you probably heard it. It's on the album that I just released. But the song, the journaling, the picture, it's all fruit that will remain. So when they grow up, when they're adults, when they get out on their own, but they'll always have that moment. We'll always have that moment together. And that's what I'm talking about. It's fruit that remains. It's things that outlast you. Today you be safe, you be strong, and you be blessed. And you live today with the understanding that whatever you're sowing today, write it down, document it, make sure other people know the God that you know today. Lord's will, we'll see you back here again tomorrow. And until then, as always, I sure hope you have a great day.